So can you believe it that this was the official go home show for Monday Night Raw for WrestleMania 41 this coming weekend? Really, it doesn't feel, to be honest, like this is the go home show. And really, tonight there was maybe one or two things of actual significance that, yeah, I guess you could say, added to the overall feel of WrestleMania 41. And one of those was we were promised the eventual sort of, I guess, face off between all three men of the main event for night one WrestleMania, that being Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. So throughout the entire night, Paul Heyman is stressing in the back. He's awaiting his tribal chief. He's trying to find when Roman Reigns is going to show up. Eventually he does show up, and he shows up at the worst possible moment for Heyman, as Heyman is being comforted by CM Punk in the back. Roman goes out to ringside. He addresses the crowd. He tells the crowd to acknowledge him. Meanwhile, ignoring Paul Heyman all this time, Paul Heyman is right there by his side, trying to give him the microphone, trying to comfort him, trying to be his wise man. Roman is having none of it. He says that, the fans here, they acknowledge the tribal chief. They would never betray their tribal chief, unlike some people. Some people might betray their tribal chief. And asked the question here tonight to Heyman. He said, why is it that this favor that you owe CM Punk? He said, number one, this favor, when you're part of the bloodline, you don't owe favors, you don't receive favors. That's not something that you do. He said, but why is this favor that you owe Punk, why is it really only screwing me? He said, it's really more to do with me than it is to do with you. And I really like that, because it kind of turned the whole favor thing up on Paul Heyman's ass, so to speak, because Roman Reigns is the one being screwed out, in this scenario. And he asked that question to Paul Heyman. Then Seth Rollins comes out here. Rollins says that he'll end Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He made this whole big ordeal over this triple threat being the most important triple threat in the entire company's history, which, that is sorely debatable. But he mentioned the fact that, whoever wins this match at WrestleMania, this triple threat, this is the biggest triple threat, right? Whoever wins this match, it's going to dictate the future of the industry. He says if Roman Reigns wins, then, a part-timer wins. Somebody who only comes around when it's convenient wins. And he says if CM Punk wins, and CM Punk being a snake, he does not want that outcome to happen, whether it's CM Punk or whether it's Roman Reigns. He says the winner of that match has to be Seth Rollins. That way this company can prosper and the future of the industry can prosper. He said that he asked a favor of Heyman last week, but he knows that Heyman is a scumbag, and scumbags don't change, and he's not expecting anything from Heyman. Eventually Roman Reigns turns to Heyman and tells him, obviously the wise man has made his choice, and so have I. And with this, he clotheslines Seth Rollins, and he sends Seth Rollins out to the outside. Then he shoves Paul Heyman on his ass. Then out comes CM Punk to try to defend Paul Heyman. Then eventually Roman sees that Punk is comforting Heyman in the corner, and Roman ends up giving him a spear. And then after this, Seth Rollins comes in the ring, hits a steel chair to the back of Roman Reigns' back, and ends off stomping both Roman and Punk, and ends up leaving them both, laid down on the floor, on the canvas. And Seth Rollins stands tall with a distressed, scared Paul Heyman in the corner, fearing for his life. And Seth Rollins stands tall here on the go home show for Monday Night Raw. Now, obviously, this whole match really has to do more with Paul Heyman, whether it's, who he's going to side with, whether it's going to be Punk, whether it's going to be Roman, whether it's going to be Rollins. I do believe that Rollins is going to win at WrestleMania 41. Does that mean that Heyman ends up aligning with Rollins? It might as well, although I'm not sure whether or not we're going to see that, whether it's Rollins just wins, by the sheer luck of Roman and Punk being distracted by each other, being distracted by Heyman, or whether it's the fact that Heyman ends up aligning with Rollins. Another segment that I liked here tonight was the Gunther promo. Gunther came out here super sort of focused, almost off of his ball, because the whole narrative now is that Gunther, it seems like he's been rattled by Jey Uso, considering last week Jey Uso said that he's not scared of Gunther. Gunther said when he came out to the ring, he said he's been champion for 80% of his entire run here in the WWE. He said that he's a special gift here for the WWE. He says that a lot of people, think that he is out of control, that when he took out Jimmy Uso, that was him being out of control. He said that if he were out of control, it would have been Jey bathed in Jimmy's blood. He said following WrestleMania 41, he's going to call his mother and tell her how much he enjoyed beating the hell out of Jey Uso. Now, eventually, we did get a Jey Uso promo here, which was really, not that interesting, really, not that significant compared to the Gunther promo. I feel like this match, the build is essentially done. Now we just got to get to the actual match, which is going to be Jey Uso being the World Heavyweight Champion. And as far as significant moments, that was pretty much it. We also did get Penta against Balor here. It ended up being a DQ after you had Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio come out there. And Braun Breaker seemed to want to take out Penta, but Penta took out Braun Breaker. Penta was the one left standing tall at the end. So again, like I said, I do predict that it's going to be a Dominic win at WrestleMania 41. I think the fact that Penta stood tall doesn't really bode well for his chances at WrestleMania 41. We also got some cool little vignettes by all three women of the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Rhea, Io, and Bianca. I typically do like these backstage vignettes. They really kind of highlight the character more. And as far as significant moments, like I said, that was essentially it. This was the go home episode of Raw. And for a go home episode of Raw, you would have expected something else, but this is what we got here tonight. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know your thoughts and your reactions to Monday Night Raw. And until next time, take care, and I will see y'all later.